You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Vegas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Vegas After Show.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, AFTERBUZZers. Bingus for doing, and today we are doing episode 19, season 1, CBS's Vegas. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me today are
Bamm, Ericsen,
Nick Perdue,
and Steve Rizzo.
Steve Rizzo's in the house. He's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoop, whoop.
I don't know if you guys remember Steve Rizzo, but I think you guys do remember Steve Rizzo.
should.
Stunt guy from Vegas, from the show itself. He is the man. He came back to grace us with his presence, and he has a little
laziness going on.
Beard going. No, it's
Vegas,
hot though. You know?
Vegas is on hiatus, so I'm gonna, just be lazy.
Just relax a little bit. Let your hair down on your face too.
A little bit.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so jumping into this episode, we have a whodunit again, of course. I mean, that's what they do. It's like CSI in 1960. Yeah. But, there's a lot of other things going on that are interesting as well. We'll get to the whodunit, but Yvonne and Dixon have their thing going on there.
They do.
They're starting to kick their relationship off, and it seems to be the little bit of they're having some tests. In the beginning
That's
of
the
the
first time I think that the show's even touched on something racial like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I haven't seen it. It's the first time.
I think they did one episode. Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, I was going to say, even before we get into the whole racial thing, it was like last week they had this conversation about what happened in L.A. and they kind of got them closer. It went from that to walking hands in public and just becoming an official couple. I mean, do you guys think that was kind of quick?
Yes. I know what you're saying. Because when I watched it, I was like, wow, that was fast. Because I remember what happened in L.A. I was like, he went to bat for her and beat up the old guy, the old producer, but he went to L.A. to see the other girl. So it was kind of, then all of a sudden they're holding hands. So yeah, it was a little. When I watched it, I went, what the Stewie?
TV time. TV time. So it's probably like 2-3 weeks in between episodes. And
well, for me, it wasn't that bad, and it's simply because they've had this thing brewing between them, the two of them, for quite some time, and it seems to be like it's been for the duration of their relationship that they've known each other, they've been friends or whatever. Yeah. And on top of that, they kind of went through a traumatic situation together that actually kind of bonded them and made them a little closer, especially with that whole Barry Silver situation. Yeah. So that would make somebody kind of bond, I guess. The guy slapped her around, and then he went to bat for her to defend her.
As we see that traumatic situations do bring couples together.
They can.
As we saw what happened in this episode too. So it
breaks them apart too.
It breaks them apart, but also like if it's something that like where they're mutually hurting, over like the same cause, then of course that's gonna bring two people together, bring a country together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's really, I understand it and I see it. So it's nice to see them together though.
Yeah, they make a cute couple.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see Dixon settle down.
Yes, because they opened that whole series up with that very first episode with him running out of the married woman's house.
Yes.
And we're like, okay, this is the kind of character this guy's going to be. Right. And then all of a sudden now, at the end of the season, he's all settling down with the cute girl in the office. So,
I don't know if I like the. I don't know if I'm going to like the settle down Dixon. I'm going to have to get used to that. I like the philandering Dixon.
Cheat. But
I do like where the story's going. So now that Dixon is not the little young man whore, now he's starting to settle down, and now he's
man whore.
I couldn't come up with a player.
There you go. Rolling Stone.
And so a player, and so he goes from the player now to settling down, and not only settling down and having a girlfriend, but this girlfriend is, say my line, she's ambiguously
Ethnically ambiguous.
Yeah. And so now, not only is he settling with just a girl, he's settling with a girl who is
ethnically ambiguous.
And so now this opens up a whole can of worms, which now we go into our Friday's episode about her
opting out of seeing the movie.
Her ethnic ambiguity.
But did she because when she first mentioned it, did he catch it right away, or
he didn't catch it at all?
Yeah, I don't think he did. Yeah, he didn't catch it right. I don't think he caught it. He caught on until the end, and even at the end, I still think he was he seemed a little confused by.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Well, because I don't think he's seen it happen firsthand. You know, because like his world is a white world essentially. So like a lot of the women that he talks to or that he messes with are white women. So. Going and dating this ethnically ambiguous woman, especially back in those times, like he hasn't had to deal with that. So now he's having to deal with it. And so I think it's like a brand new experience for him. So he's really kind of taking it one step at a time, and he's learning as he goes along.
I was a little thrown off with the racial tension that they had in this episode, because in the beginning, it was kind of like, okay, what is she? She kind of had, maybe she could, be Hispanic, Puerto Rican, or potentially like, black, but then.
She's brown. She's,
Well, her character's last name is Sanchez.
Right.
So she's a Latina. That doesn't mean anything.
No, we dubbed her that from the beginning because we didn't know what she was or her character name. She was just kind of there. So we're like this ethnically ambiguous girl. So that's why that's like a long running joke when it comes to that character. She is Latina. We find out later.
It was shocking to me because I can't recall on TV to see another race outside of the African American race in the 1950s or 60s be discriminated on television. So that's why it kind of threw me off for a little bit, because you only normally see that with
black folk.
Yeah, African Americans on television back in the days.
I mean, it was kind of. I don't want to say it was nice.
It's kind of refreshing.
Change of pace.
Right. That was exactly change of pace. Is perfect. But it's interesting to see and to be made cognizant of aware that African Americans weren't the only ones that were being discriminated against at those times. It was like everybody that was of some kind of ethnic brown or whatever descent. It seems so. Those laws weren't just applicable to African Americans at that time, and it was actually just from an ethnic standpoint to see somebody from another ethnicity that was affected by this, besides just African Americans. It's been played so many times as being African American in the
'60s, absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
It's been it's been perpetuated. It did happen, but others were affected.
Other people felt the strain with it.
Yeah. So I thought it was good CBS writers that they put that in there. Yeah. Shout out to them for
it's
Vegas writers.
It's nice to see the cultural diversity. Of the hatred, I guess. But that's weird. That's weird. That's a weird way to put it.
But you're right. You're right.
Yeah, like that's it's weird to see hate on both sides. But what we don't want you to do is hate this show. So go on to iTunes and definitely rate, comment, and subscribe. Give us 5 stars. And if you don't have an iTunes account, it's free. Go just make an iTunes account. Tell your friends. Be like, hey guys, let's make an iTunes account and subscribe to the AfterBuzz podcast, and subscribe to all your favorite shows that we do here at AfterBuzz. And we'll read the best comments and shout you out.
Excellent. Yes. Actually, you guys can follow us on Twitter and follow us on YouTube. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you want to call in, you guys can call us at 424-256-1729, 424-256-1729. We got Stuntman for the show, Steve Rizzo in the house right now. If you guys want to call in and ask him any questions, you guys should feel free to do that.
I have a message. Jason O'Mara wanted me to say hi to you guys and thank you so much for supporting the show.
Jason,
he really appreciates it. So,
What up?
Well, hello, Jason. Well, and thank you for being a good actor.
Thank you for pursuing Sarah Jones every week. You're a lucky guy, Big J. Okay, thanks for the shout outs.
Speaking of,
so her character, I mean, you know, it was interesting to see Mia get held captive.
did you see that?
By some desperate guy.
She was just like ice cold. Didn't move. I mean, like it's like part of her life to have a gun pulled on her. She was just like,
Right.
go for it.
Right.
I'm gonna wreck your world.
Right.
You know, she didn't blink an eye. It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, she's always kind of been that almost stoic type of character, but
Yeah.
with that gun, she was just didn't move, didn't blink. Go ahead, do what you're gonna do.
It's so composed.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just like,
But I think like she had to do that because like if she broke at that moment, then he would have felt that he had the upper hand, even though he did have the gun, this and that, you know, because he knows who she is, he knows how she acts, and so
Right.
he's like, okay, if I have a gun to her head now, then she may not, you know, like
but
be as.
If I was that guy though, and she didn't move, and I had the gun, I've been like, okay, I quit.
right, exactly.
I'll go find somebody else to get the money from.
But I think that's why he was so nervous though,
Yeah.
because he was like, why isn't she like freaking out?
but he was also nervous. He was also nervous because he's not a real,
crook.
Yeah, that's true.
you know.
True. Yeah.
That's true.
And so, you know, I guess you need to practice a couple times before you get it, right?
He said practice. Dude was desperate. He's looking for money. I was still trying to figure out the whole company, the clothing company that they had. Was that clear to you guys? Or for me, it was kind of like, okay, he had a business with his buddy who was posing to be Ned Harris.
They weren't supposed to really. I understood it. They weren't supposed to really know each other, but they had the same clothes from the same clothing company in Philadelphia.
Right, they were partners.
Which they owned.
Right.
Right.
So why were they
that's how I understood
hiding? Why were they hiding? Because when he went in to see Detective Byrne, he felt like that the FBI caught up with them, that the government was catching up with them. So they were running from something that wasn't clear to me what they were running from.
Maybe, because what I'm thinking is that clothing company was like a front for something else. And that's where they're getting all this money from. Or like they bankrupted the company and then
Something shady.
Yeah, it was something to where like
the FBI was on to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he just thought that, oh my God.
And the fact that he was a
jig is up.
dealer at the Savoy was another in to busting Savino.
Savino, exactly. Let's talk about Byrne since he's come up. You want to say something, Bamm?
I just really quick, I was expecting a different kind of subtle signal that Mia was gonna give to Lamb when he was at the door. But
It was good though.
But then again, I got so caught up in the moment that I forgot that it was the '60s. So that's a natural thing. But now, in 2013, you can't do something with your eyes because they would, you know, the guy with the gun would obviously kind of know what's going on. So I got so wrapped up that I forgot. Okay, this is the '60s. That's probably a normal thing to just kind of, you know, kind of wink, move your eye a little bit to kind of signal that, you know, we're in trouble. But I was expecting something more.
Well, I think it was good that she was
We got
subtle.
a caller if you want to take it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right.
Caller on the line with the Vegas AfterBuzz TV after show.
Caller.
Hi. Yes.
Who
They
we
were
speaking
asking a
with?
question about the clothing store.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was actually those guys. Their shop burned down, and they were actually charged with it. And some of their people had died, so they had skipped bail.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So was it like an insurance thing?
Yeah, I don't know. They never really got into exactly what had happened, but they were charged with something, and they had actually skipped out on bail. So that's why they were worried about
Oh, that
the
makes
FBI
sense.
taking his fingerprints.
That
Got
makes sense.
you.
Well, that explains a lot.
What is your name?
VG.
VG. Thanks, VG, for that insight.
VIJ.
VIJ.
You were tweeting us earlier, right? Did you tweet us earlier about the IMBD?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
How are you? We got the tweets.
We got the
thank
tweets.
You. Yeah, thank you for tweeting us and giving us that information.
Yeah, I thought you guys would discuss it anyways, but I was like, it was a really good discussion going on IMDb. So.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
Where did you get that information? Is it just?
On the bail thing?
Yeah, because was it mentioned
in the show? It was in the episode.
It was an episode, but did you get it from IMDb or did you just get it from watching and you paid attention?
No, I just got it from watching it. I just remember it from the episode.
See, you sat in front of the class. We all sat in the back of the class in high school. So, you know.
Yes, I did sit in the front of the class.
But thank you for the clarification.
She was paying attention. I was getting the wedgie.
Exactly. I would have been cheating off of your test, VG, in school.
Exactly.
So I appreciate you calling in.
It was pretty minor, but because it became a question for you guys, I figured I would just answer.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for calling.
So yeah, talking about I mean, dang, that really.
Did you guys catch that?
I didn't.
I saw the episode twice, and I did not catch that at all.
Well, the fact that she mentioned it, I remember them saying something about the company.
Yeah, like, but
something about the clothing company, but I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
All right, VG, thank you. Now I got to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on the direct TV and just go, okay. Oh, they did.
I got to take my DVR and go frame by frame. Wait, back. Wait,
Put the subtitles on and everything. Make sure that okay.
Oh, they said fire right there. I read it. Okay, so this guy Byrne, the FBI agent. This guy.
He's a piece of work.
Okay, let's get one word to describe Byrne. Steve Rizzo, go.
Doorknob.
Nick Perdue, go.
Cunning.
Cunning? You're gonna use cunning for this guy?
I'm gonna use cunning for this guy.
Okay. Bamm Ericsen, go.
Toupee. I look at him and how it's like, you know.
He has that Marv Albert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That Marvel. Yeah. Me, it's Tool. This guy is just a complete utter Tool. I'm sorry, Byrne, and he tries to have these redeeming qualities because he wants to get in the sack with the ADA.
Yep.
Like, dude, like, you can't be any more obvious than what you're being.
He was so mean to that girl. You know what? He deserved to get shot. He was so mean to her.
And it wasn't fatal. It was a shoulder clip. So he's gonna recover.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be okay. Exactly.
But here's the thing. I feel like about his character though is that he has to be this total just jack, and you know, and he plays it so well, you know, and so it's like you love to hate this guy.
Yeah.
And he finds every little thing just a twist, every little word, every little, you know what I mean?
Go ahead, Bamm.
I'm gonna step on the dark side. The man is doing.
No pun intended.
He's doing it.
Go ahead.
The man is doing his job. Stop hating.
He is. That's the he is doing his job. And he's doing it well. He's very detail oriented, and so that's the thing. Like that's what's really getting him to where you know he's no rock is gonna be left unturned.
And that's what got him shot. Thank you.
He's overdoing it. He's overdoing his job. You know those people that overdo their jobs.
Yes.
And you're like, dude, really? Yeah. I was just in here. I don't need to show you my tickets, my movie ticket stub again. I was just.
He just saw
I just want to go put money in the meter. You know, you saw me walk out. Like,
well, you know, sometimes people take advantage, and so therefore you just.
No, but he's not even doing that. He's on some manhunt, and he's trying to impose terror on the town. And he's doing that also, I think he's doing that as a means of getting, imposing this tone with Ralph. Yeah. Because Ralph has such a presence in this town, I think it's important for him to come and be like, the FBI is here.
The bigger bat.
Exactly.
That's what it comes.
That's exactly what he's doing. So he's pulling it out.
And if he got digs for the oh man,
ADA.
Yes,
Catherine.
He's blowing it because she completely turned off him. That's why he was trying to explain himself at the end. If what I'm doing is is pushing you away, I apologize.
But I think she's turned back on because
he took one to the shoulder.
No, because it's because he was apologizing, and it was how he was apologizing, and he says none of this matters to me unless you're by my side. And nobody comes at her like that. And Ralph he needs to step up, dude. He's
playing cat and mouse.
Yeah,
he's playing coy.
And the way Catherine smiled, it was like a forgiven.
It was definitely like that. It was like that little sweet talk, I guess, amongst law enforcement. If I can, when I bring all these people down, if you're not by my side, none of this matters. She's like, she gives a little. Oh my goodness, that was really a funny situation there. But we're gonna see what happens. Maybe he's gonna invite her to happy hour after his slug gets pulled out of his shoulder. But
no, I mean, I feel like
wear it as a necklace.
She may visit him in the hospital, and then, you know.
Speaking of the hospital, let's talk about Tony's dumbass. The boy who
The kid.
the accountant.
The poor kid.
The accountant.
The poor kid.
Leave now. Leave now. It's okay.
No,
Leave
coming.
now.
When your boss is sitting with a jacket over her hand, sitting next to one of the cops, it was a very awkward situation. She said, "Go" more than once. Boy, go get out of there.
She said,
And come on,
"Leave it
he-
at the door."
He couldn't feel the tension when he walked into that room.
He felt the tension. But he chose to ignore it, and because he was so green and he was so naive, and
He deserved he deserved to die.
I thought he was dead. I thought he reminded me of the kid from Ugly Betty, the one that played the nephew, like growing up. I thought that was him. I was like, is that the kid from Ugly Betty? Like,
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was him. It was like, oh no, I'm totally just gonna bring it in here. It's okay. Well, and then she's sitting on the bed with the guy who was like, this is a handsome guy. He's probably on the bed, your boss, on the bed with the guy. Is everything okay? Like, dude, beat him. Kick rocks, bro. Like, what are you still doing here? Like, I told you to leave it by the door. You bring it in anyway.
And then he looks around the room, right? Like, what are you looking for? You look around the room, and then you catch someone in the mirror.
Right.
And yeah, so.
And he got popped. I bet he'll learn to follow instructions.
Exactly.
Lesson learned.
But, good. I like the fact that it was, 3 people, a robbery turns into 1 to 2 to 3. I thought that whole thing was cool, but I thought Tony was just a bit young and naive and a little dumb for what he did. But, he'll live.
He had good hair, though.
He'll be fine.
He had good hair, and it was not a wig.
That was real natural.
Yeah, it was real natural. He was flowing. He had a good head of hair. Anyway, so I like how Ralph had all the FBI agents car towed. That was. I just had to throw that in there because.
Well, now he's showing the size of his bat.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you park there, I'm gonna tow your car. Fine.
Exactly.
So, because it's almost like there's another chess game being played now with Ralph and this FBI agent.
Yeah, I mean the situation with them is. Well, you know what? Because of what's developing, as we are going to see what's coming up next week and how everything's developing.
And I was right.
Yes. We're going to get to your rightness, Nicholas, in a minute, okay? But how everything is developing, you can definitely, see that they had to take Byrne out of the situation in order for what's going to take place the way it's going to. Anyway. This rancher, now we got dirty ranchers. I like the fact that we got dirty ranchers.
Yeah, it's good.
Because they have to show, like, you got the good city slickers, and you got the mob, and you had the good ranchers. There's the dark side to the ranchers, too. So you got...
Yeah, it suddenly seems like they're teaming up against the one guy from the Tumbleweed. And it's like,
Yeah.
Where did that come from? They've been butting heads all season. All of a sudden, now they're teaming up against this guy who's
Gainesley.
Broke.
Well, remember, because Gainesley basically took the Tumbleweed from Savino. Because remember, Savino was tied up. Right. Yeah, and so he was okay. Like, how do I get out of this? So I'll give you the Tumbleweed. I'll manage it for you. You just collect the money, this and that, yada yada yada.
Right.
And then so being the good business guy that Gainesley is, he took that deal. And now, the Tumbleweed's up and running because it was going through construction or whatever. So it's up and running, and there's people there. It's a new hot spot on the block, and
we catch them beating up the guy from the Savoy, bringing over
some alcohol
inventory. It's like, dude, like, what are you doing? But they later revealed that he's hard up for money. He doesn't have any money. He's lost everything based on that. What was it? 29 people?
The mining.
Yeah, that money was supposed to go was
to the families.
They said he was broke because his lawyer said it at the golf course. Said he's broke. All the money that he had went to the families of the miners from the mining accident. But then at the end, Catherine said that money was financing the Tumbleweed. That's why they shut it down. So I got a little conflicting stories there. So I got a little confused.
I was a little confused about that.
Well, because it's the lawyer wasn't going to tell him everything.
You think that's what it was?
Yeah, like that's why the lawyer told him. Well, yeah, that's why that's why he's acting this way because I feel the lawyer still has some in debt that he has to pay to what's his name?
Gainesley.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gainesley.
So
the overall wearer.
Yeah. So but what Gainesley was doing, I mean, yeah, he's shady, and I feel like he's trying to become like a mob boss himself.
Well, okay. Is he really shady, or is he really just not appreciating the mob that's come in and taken over?
When you don't give money to the families of the mine that were killed on your, that's shady.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. It's a little bit.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, you're right. I guess that's a little shady. That's kind of shady.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's almost like he's the kid that wants to fit in school, and he's not fitting in, so he's gonna, I'm gonna do whatever I got to do, and if you're not gonna fit in, now I'm gonna get angry,
Now, one of the things that I wasn't clear on was Savino the one that put the tip in to come and put the squeeze on with the FBI with the whole shutdown of the tumbleweed? Was that part of a whole?
Yeah,
was that part of a part of a plot so he can get them out of there?
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah,
that's what I felt. That was the tone to me. Like, okay, Savino set this up so he can try to get rid of these guys, and he's like, well, I'm gonna get my attorney right on it. Well, he already knows what's going on.
Right.
But they weren't clear about whether or not.
He has to show face to Gainsley, like we're in this together, but I'm the one who set you up.
But they never did show Savino talking to anybody and saying, and Byrne's the one that came over, and Byrne is busting everybody's balls right now, so you don't know whether or not is it really them clamping down or Savino set this up.
Right.
Well, maybe it was the lawyer. I don't, because he talked to the lawyer.
Well, the lawyers, the lawyers got him in debt. The lawyer's not going to try to do anything.
Yeah, no. So, but because now the lawyer's in debt to Savino, so it could have been the lawyer that went to the ADA and said, that got the notice. So, that could have been the angle because Savino's not going to go to the ADA.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
But he has other resources that he can use to drop a tip. They said they just got a tip. When they came in,
it was an anonymous tip.
I got to lean towards Savino for that same reason.
Yeah.
I mean, who else? I mean, we're not seeing anybody else in the picture right now. So.
Right. It seems it was probably Savino. That's what I think.
Could have been.
I mean, I guess we're gonna
never know.
You'll find out.
You're gonna find out later.
We'll find out.
Go ahead, Bamm.
I wanted to bring up some good points that I've noticed since the show has come back from its hiatus.
6-week hiatus.
I love the scenery, the color, like everything seems a lot, although it's in the 60s, it just seems a lot more
vibrant.
And then I noticed how when they were at the golf course, you could see the golf course, and then you could see in the back how lights. There was the lights and the Vegas Strip. I thought that was really cool. And then something that I noticed, did you guys notice on the outside during the Strip, there was a hotel or something called Dice?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't notice that.
It reminded me of McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It reminded me of McDonald's because it almost kind of like had the arch.
Gambling for fries.
Okay.
Yeah. Fries and burgers.
I think that's an actual set. Casino on the set, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go look through some of my pictures.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's an actual. It's next to the tumbleweed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is. It's next to tumbleweed.
Yeah.
Interesting. That would be kind of tight. Show up.
But yeah, I like all the new changes.
Yeah, that's good. They've from the intro, like they've done a lot of different changes. So
the intro is nice.
Yeah.
One other observation I noticed about change. Have you guys noticed how Dennis Quaid uses both his left and his right hand when he shoots the gun?
I never noticed.
Really?
Yeah. He's normally he's left-handed.
He is left-handed.
He's left-handed, but during the murder scene, when he went to rescue his brother, the gun was in his right hand. And then in next week's preview, he's back to using the gun in his left hand.
Never noticed that.
Wow.
Never noticed that.
Ambidextrous.
Yeah. There you go.
That's a pretty talented guy, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think he plays the guitar too, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. We at the rap party, his band played. We had the rap party in the Savoy, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome. And they gave us chips when you walk in for to play because they had dealers and stuff. It was all pretend. And so you could play craps. I was playing craps with Taylor Hanley for like, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. He was giving me lessons. And
you never played craps before?
I'd never played craps before. And he's telling me where to put everything and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm throwing the dice. I had no clue what I was doing. I said, where's the blackjack table? But Dennis's band was there.
Yeah,
and they played throughout the evening. And Chickless has a band also, and he got up and he played because he's a drummer.
Oh, that's right. He does.
He got up and he wailed on the drums and he sang a couple songs with Dennis, and it was kind of cool. Yeah.
You have pictures?
To be a fly on that wall.
I do.
Yeah, me too.
know, right?
How big is this Savoy? Like the Savoy looks like it's pretty big. So give us, what is the Savoy? The set? Yeah. What does the set look like?
Savoy is actually a soundstage that they built. You can actually walk from the back of the Savoy and out into the valet area right down Fremont Street. It's like one big giant set. It's phenomenal. But it looks bigger on TV than it is. When you go in, and if you walk in, there's curtains on on the sides of the soundstage and stuff and mirrors. If you look real close during the show, there's mirrors around the outside to make it look bigger than it actually is. But it's very well done. It's very well done.
Yeah, it does. It looks.
Is it two stories, or is like the upstairs elevator? Is that on the other side?
Yeah, no, it's just one story. The upstairs and the hallways and the hotel and stuff are another stage. But it's. I mean, they did a really nice job building that thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it looks so real.
Yeah.
Yeah, you walk on it at night when all the lights are on. You think you're right there on Fremont Street. It's really cool. It's really cool.
When did you guys wrap?
End of March.
Okay.
I think end of March.
End of March.
Last week in March.
Okay.
And so, tell us about some of the stunts since the last time we spoke to you. Give us some more details of some of the stunts because there's more action now.
Well, you saw me crash the truck in that episode. That was a humdinger. Kind of rang my bell on that one.
Wow. I didn't notice.
Jason was driving the truck that got T-boned, and I was actually handcuffed for real.
See, no.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, because they were afraid that they were going to see. They were handcuffs. They would pop open, but the fact that you got to put a little pressure on them to pop them.
Yeah.
But I was driving the truck with my hands in this position because I was handcuffed, like he was driving.
Yeah.
So I had to drive this thing to 35 miles an hour and it hit my mark. So Lamb's truck had hit us and spin us around, and he tagged us good. I'm glad it was on the passenger side. It wasn't me.
It was a good shot.
It was a good shot. I mean, it broke the axle of the truck, and when you spin around, you see the wheels turn.
How fast were you guys going?
I was going 35, and he was going 30, so it was about 65 mile an hour impact.
I almost for a second didn't think that Jason was actually handcuffed. I was kind of hoping that maybe Mia kind of like left him unlocked for him.
No, because what happens after we get hit, Jason reached around and grabbed the guy, grabbed Harry. It was his name Harry, right?
Yeah.
And then they come pouring out of the truck. So he was handcuffed the whole time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, she didn't fake it or anything.
So you're just driving the truck on the truck scene?
What's that?
You were just driving the truck.
I was driving the truck and got T-boned when Lamb came out on the side street.
Oh, how many times do you guys have to do it?
Once.
Once. They have like 6 trucks waiting. They're like, okay, we didn't get it right.
We only had 1 truck to crash. So.
Oh man, so
they had to get it right.
No, we timed it. We ran a couple of timers. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
To get used to what was going on, and So.
Did you wear a neck brace?
I did not, because you could totally see me. I had on a huge lap belt that we had strapped to the frame of the truck. That was the only thing I had, and I had some shin guards. No, I didn't have shin guards because I had a pour because we did everything in one shot. So I didn't even have that. I had knee pads on underneath my jeans. That's all I had.
Wow. This dude is Mr.
He's tough.
Invincible over here.
No, we're not. That's funny because you guys everybody says that about stunt guys, that we're so tough. And we were on set one time, and everybody's crowded around this box, this big Tupperware box, and Nosy Steve wants to come over and see what's going on, right? I come in, it's Jason and a couple other people, and I stick my head in there. What are you guys looking at? And they had 2 big rattlesnakes, and I'm just like, and I jumped and I just ran. I'd walk away as quick as I could, and Jason's like, "What's the matter?" I said, "Snakes. I'm out of here." He makes fun of me now all the time. Snakes? Really? You're afraid of snakes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big rattlesnake. Yeah. And Quaid was the last week when we had the bull. Did you see last week's episode with the bull in the street?
Yeah.
I was standing there, and that bull was coming right. I mean, literally got from me to you with those big horns. And I'm like, when can I go? When can I get away from this thing? I was like, I had to wait till I was told, because Dennis was up on his horse.
Yeah.
And he said, when he told Jack to go around and tip the trailer back over, he says, "You go." So I could get up on the sidewalk and go. I'm like, "Go, can I go? Can I go? This thing's getting closer. Can I get this thing?" And he made fun of me all night. "Come on, Rizzo, it's just a steer." I said, "Yeah, but I'm a city boy. I'm used to buses and taxi cabs." This big steer thing coming at me is not what I'm talking about.
But we don't use livestock for transportation.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
So do they have like an animal? I mean, they do have an animal trainer or somebody who controls?
Yeah, there's a horse wrangler, and he was in charge of the steer that episode last week. But
was the steer well trained?
He was actually pretty calm. But it's 1,500 pounds with these huge horns.
That's still like kind of intimidating.
Yeah, it was very intimidating. I mean, I'd rather stand in front of a car, to be honest with you.
Right.
What were the extras? Was everyone pretty calm?
What they had done is if you watch the scene again, they had parked all the cars real close together along the sidewalks.
Smart.
So all the background were on the sidewalk behind the cars. I mean, the steer wasn't going to go through the cars or anything, but there was just enough room for me to squeak between the cars and get up on the sidewalk.
Because you see those tapes from like Spain, and they sometimes jump up into the stands, easily could jump over a car. Like to me, it's like they could jump. That thing could jump. I mean, but
they originally wanted to use a real bull, a 2,000-pound bull, and they said it was just too nasty. We couldn't do it to you guys. So they brought the steer. Okay.
I know, right?
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
That's better. I think.
You guys do what you want to do.
Okay, I want to go a little more into the whole stunt. Okay, so you as a stunt coordinator, how do you prepare for the stage, the moving and all that? Because like if someone is like a dancer choreography, maybe they're like in a mirror and they're kind of going over like certain steps. Like when you're the stunt coordinator, how do you plan? Do you look in the mirror? Are you kind of like walking and talking to yourself, kind of making sure that like you're this person, and then that you have a how does that work?
Well, a lot of times, I made clear I'm not the coordinator of the show. Everybody works differently. But when I break down a script, I'll read it, and sometimes you're given the action. It's actually some people will actually write the action into the script. Yeah. Some people will just write car chase, and that's all you get. So now you've got to put everything together, and what I'll do is I'll come in bigger, and I'll bring in everything I can, and then have them back me off. It's easier to pull away and take stuff away than it is to add stuff. So it all depends on the writing. I mean, like I said, sometimes it's written right there for you, almost beat for beat, and then sometimes you don't get anything. You just have to create it as you do, and you take notes. When I'm writing down a script, I write notes on the side, and I write notes on my pad, and I who I'm going to need, what I'm going to want to do, and this kind of thing. And if I don't have anything to go off of, I'll develop it right there, almost write the scene for them.
So what about Vegas? Do you have any opinion or input on how the stunts are to go, or is the coordinator kind of just tells you this is what you're going to do? No,
pretty much he tells me what we're going to do. And but obviously if it's anything that I feel is unsafe or I feel uncomfortable with, I'll speak up. But but this guy's really good. He's been around for years. I totally trust him, and I don't second guess anything. If he wants me to do something, I just go ahead and do it.
Sometimes you have a particular project that you're watching, and I know it was on a show that me and Bamm just did. We just saw there was a chase scene, and the cop tackled the perp, and they tumbled down some stairs, and you could totally see the stunt person in the scene. What happens?
You saw the stunt double's face?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So what particularly happens? Because sometimes you see productions and you see the final. When you see the final cut, you see. You can see the stunt person.
Sometimes, because a lot of times they'll shoot, and because I like to do it as a stunt coordinator, I'll shoot things with more than 2 cameras if I can. I'd like to have at least 2 cameras, because that way, you do, particularly if you're doing a fight. Yeah. I'll do a big old master fight with the stunt doubles. And then I'll go and punch in and get close-ups of the actual actors doing the fight. So then when they get to editing, they have something that they can put together. And far away, you're not going to see anybody's face, but you still want to see the actors doing it. Right. So it gives you a nice blend when you can use both. But if you're stuck with 1 camera, it's kind of tough to get away. It is.
Okay. Yeah. So it's usually they might have just been stuck with 1 camera.
They could have been. Yeah.
Okay. Because sometimes you're like they have to know.
Yeah. So, sometimes you just can't get away from it either. Right. Depending, even if you have 2 cameras, somebody's face is going to be seen. I mean, my face has been seen, but
your face is being seen right now, Steve Rizzo.
My face has been seen. So, but maybe it's because I know what's going on. Right. And maybe because I know what the day was. I know what I was doing. I know exactly what's going on. So maybe to the average person who's not in the business, they don't see it. I mean, I don't know. Any callers out there want to call in and count and prove me wrong? I guess I don't.
You guys have seen Steve's face.
If you've seen my face,
Where's Waldo?
on Vegas, let me know.
I've only been able to recognize your face by pausing and then just kind of like hitting it in slow-mo, and then I realize it's you, but you know.
If I was a stunt guy, I'd be trying to see. I'd be tumbling, and then I'd just be like, the camera's this one. Okay, wait.
Can't do that.
I'd be the worst stunt guy.
Fired like that.
I'd be like,
get out of here.
His face is in the shot. I mean, can't use it. We can't use it.
No. Don't stop at catering. Just get out. Just
keep on moving.
I want to step away away from stunt just for a second, because last time that you were here, you were getting ready to embark on track season with the hurdles, and so I saw some pics of you competing. And so how did that go for you?
It's going okay. I've been battling injuries simply because I'm, going on 46 years old. So, and I recently became friends with the European champion in England. He's in the age group above me. He's 50 to 54, 55. Oh. And but he said the biggest thing is injury management. So I took that into consideration, because what I was doing is I was overtraining. I thought I could train like a 20-year-old, and you just can't. Yeah. You just can't. But it's going good. So I've rearranged my workout schedule. I took some time off because of some injuries that I had developed, and so I've got a couple of meets under my belt. Right now I'm sitting #1 in the country in the 400-meter hurdles.
What's your best time so far?
68:03.
Nice.
I ran a 65 a couple weeks ago where I got disqualified.
Did you?
I did.
Did you step out of your lane?
No, I apparently you're not allowed to obliviate the last hurdle.
Yeah. You can't just run through it. Yeah.
And I hit the one before it, and then and as soon as I hit the one before it,
throws you off.
And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I went, now they're eyeballing me, because as soon as you knock one over, they're like, Right. And then I was exhausted, and I just ran out of gas, and I just nailed it, and so I knew it was coming, and it happened. But it is what it is, and you move on. And I have a meet May 12th, and then I have 2 Masters Championships in June. So sitting #1 in the hurdles and #2 in the long jump in the country right now.
Really?
So,
congrats to that.
#2 in the long jump. What are you jumping?
Almost 19 feet. So like 18, 8.5.
What do you find the difference between when you trained in your body when you were younger that is an advantage now, besides the experience, like just physically? Like, do you find any physical advantages?
No, there's less physical advantages, because most of my meets that I go to, I race against college guys. Because there's only a handful of Masters meets, throughout the season. So if I gotta get times, I gotta go to these open meets, and I gotta race against guys that are, running 51, 52, 53, and I'm like,
Okay. So I mean this in the nicest way, but sometimes when at the meets, how there's that person who's not going so fast, do they like ever recognize and say like, oh, give it up for Steve Rizzo, 46-year-old guy?
No, I don't give a crap. They don't care. No, because the last time I ran, the meet was so big, and it was all college guys. And nobody knew who I was. I was just there to get times that I can put in the Masters division. So that's the only reason. Okay. I did meet and race against some Paralympic guys from the London Games. I met Blake Leeper, who won a bronze medal and a silver medal in the London Games in August. And so I did get to meet some of those guys. There was a blind sprinter. He ran the 100 blind sprinter.
Yes,
I was like,
I've met him before. Yeah.
I stood there and go, how is this going to work? He gets in the blocks with, like, his guide is next to him, and they hold on to a tether.
Yeah.
Like a piece of webbing, and that's how they run. He ran the 100. He ran the 400. He's one of the fastest guys in the world.
Yeah.
They do what?
They hang on to. He hangs on to his guide.
So his guy has to run just as fast as him.
Yeah, exactly. So if the blind young man is in lane 4, then his partner is in 5, and they have these things that attach to him, and they both get in the blocks.
Yep.
And it's some way that they practice, because runners take your mark, sets. Yeah. And so I think he feels off and reacts to him, and so.
Is this on YouTube?
I don't know. And there was a blind long jumper that was in my flight. The last meet I was in, which was fascinating to watch.
I think that's a little easier though,
because the person doesn't have to jump; they have to run down. Yeah.
No, but because like you even like
it's all steps, yes. Yeah. But he also had his guide was at the end, and he was calling out cadence, So the guy, almost like a musician.
Right.
He'd say 1, 2, go, 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 and the closer he got to the guy's voice, he knew he was getting to the board.
Yeah,
that's when he would jump. And it was just fascinating to watch. And I give those guys so much credit. It was unbelievable to watch.
That's amazing.
It really makes you. It really makes you, you know, think twice about, man, I'm complaining. You know.
That's crazy. But no, okay, wait, okay, hold on. Here's my question. If you run the 100, let's say you're like the fastest guy in the world, and you're blind, right? Wouldn't your guide be the fastest guy in the world too? No, really though. Really, because it's the tether's only like you know, right? It's only like that. So
right here.
you have to be like you literally have to be number 1 and number 2. Like you know, like you're like 1/10.
Win?
Yeah, like do you know what I'm saying? So. I don't know. I mean, it's great, you know. I just want to know the logistics of everything.
Question.
That's a legitimate question. That's a logical.
I think the blind guy ran. I want to say like 11-1, 11-2.
That's quick.
It's fast, yeah.
Well, I want to know quickly before we go. I want to know about your film. You were writing and you were in the process of
what's
your
going on
film.
with that?
Yes, it went to one of the in-house writers of the production company to tweak some character development because I took it as far as I could go with the writing experience that I have, and they liked all the action. They're not changing into the action. They want to change some of the. They want to beef up the character development a little bit. I'm like, sure, as long as the story doesn't change, do what you guys want to do. So that's where it's sitting right now. So hopefully, you know, by midsummer. We should be firing that up.
It's horror, right?
It's a slasher, old school slasher, yeah.
Old school slasher.
That's how I grew up.
You can't lose with this horror movies. It's great.
No.
Jason 38.
What's that?
Jason 38. Never lose.
Dude, you can't. Horror is a character all within itself. You're golden with that.
So it's a new character, new horror character, you know, that I kind of came up with. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Going back to Vegas real quick, what do you think about the move to Friday? Because we didn't talk about that.
I always thought it didn't need to be a 10 p.m. show.
Yeah.
It could totally be it could be an 8 p.m. show. Honestly.
Yeah, it can be.
But the fact that they moved it to Fridays right after Blue Bloods, which is a huge successful show.
Yeah.
I think it was a great move.
Okay.
I think it was a great move.
Okay.
So, we'll find out.
Yeah,
we're all sitting with bated breath. Come on, people! Everybody, tune into Vegas. Come on.
Because we talked to Amy about that last week.
What did she think?
She was like kind of up in the air about it. Is that right? What did she say? She was kind of up in the air about.
Well, I basically asked her what were the chances. Because normally when shows go to Friday, sometimes that's like TV suicide.
Sometimes
and so I asked her, you know, does that mean that they're on the cusp of being canceled? And she said, you know, she didn't think so. And I asked if they would be renewed for a second season, and she said, you know, they don't really know. So I think it will get renewed, and I think actually it'd be great if they started in the winter and just run it straight through.
They need to, yes, they need to. They need to not break it up. I think they lose. Because they did that with another show that I did with Jason. They aired 9 episodes and then went hiatus for 2 months.
You're talking about Life on Mars?
Yes. And then when they came back, they left on a cliffhanger. When they came back, they didn't address the cliffhanger. So I think it left a lot of the fans. In fact, it did leave a lot of the fans because I saw some of the message boards of, you know, what's going on, what happened, what? Too many questions.
Right.
I think if it goes away too long, especially a new show, if it goes away too long, it needs to get its feet.
Yeah.
It needs to get its feet. Every show needs to get its feet. I mean, Blue Bloods didn't have really good ratings in their first season. But it came back, and now it's a very strong show right now in the lineup.
Right.
And, and I think it's good because there are people who actually watch TV on Friday, or you have DVR now, and so I think it works.
Yeah, no, I think Friday's a great spot for it at 9 p.m. Yeah, absolutely. So check it out.
Fridays, 9 p.m.
Two more episodes left.
Two more
episodes.
That's
okay,
it.
so let's go to. Do you have any news and gossip?
Wait, do we?
I mean, go ahead and run it out.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, the ratings are doing very well. It's doing very well. And I might add, because at first I was upset that it was on Tuesdays and how they moved it, how they put Golden Boy. Golden Boy is doing the same ratings-wise as Vegas is doing, so CBS. I'm just saying.
Gave him that Aunt Jemima, you know what you did, boy. Look.
CBS stands for because Bamm said.
You gonna do Vegas dirty. I didn't like it at first, but yeah. So the ratings are doing great. So
Yep, I heard this last episode ratings came up a little bit, so
Nice.
that's good to know.
Well, let's move right on to predictions then.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
predictions. Okay, so we got 2 episodes left, and there's a lot of action that we saw coming up in the following 2 weeks before the finale. A lot of explosions, a lot of fighting, a lot of gunshots, a lot of
stunts,
a lot of drama, a lot of stunts. Exactly.
I'm not gonna make a prediction this week because there's someone here in the room who makes really good predictions and they're always right. So I feel like there's really no point in me having a prediction. So go ahead, Nick.
But I'm not here every
Tell
week.
us.
So.
So Nick, go ahead and tell us you told us so.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't just say it. CBS said it for me. But I think that this next week, we already really kind of know what's gonna happen based off of the clips. But off the tail end of this episode, Mia and Jack, of course, really get together, and I think this is really gonna be like a strong bond, and so they're really gonna get together and possibly wedding bells, or allude to because we did see a ring, so they could allude to an engagement. And then with I was gonna say Amy, but with Yvonne and Dixon, this is little last, again, the wedding thing, again, brought them closer. So they're gonna be. And then all we need is just for Catherine and Ralph to.
Yeah, Ralph needs to pick up the slack there. He's falling behind.
I don't think he's gonna have time with this war that's about to take place in the next couple of weeks.
That's true, but him and Savino, they will tag team up and protect Vegas, I guess, from these dirty ranchers,
these rancher hooligans.
Yeah.
Mr. Rizzo, can you give us some predictions, tidbits of what to expect?
I can't.
He thought it was like,
I know too much.
I tried.
Too much. He's like, I can't slip up. I ain't risking my job for you fools. Well, my prediction is we'll be back here next week for episode 20 of the first season of CBS's Vegas. Want to give big shout outs and thank you, Steve Rizzo, stuntman for CBS's Vegas, for being here and gracing us with all this lovely inside information, but not too much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Steve Rizzo _, and I'm also on Facebook. So come on out and friend me on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll chat.
You have Instagram?
I'm not on Instagram.
Start an Instagram so you can put pictures from the set on there.
Too much information from my little head. My daughter says, you got to get Instagram. Too much.
See?
You need Instagram.
We'll hopefully see Steve Rizzo with Instagram sometime
very soon.
Nick, where can we find you?
You can find me all over the internet, including Instagram, at the Nick Perdue.
You can find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, at Bamm Ericsen or Big Six Entertainment. And
you can find me at Club Thaddeus, Twitter, Instagram, and GQJedi.com, GQJEDI. Until next time, After Buzzers.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.